All right, and we are live. All right, welcome everyone to another bi-weekly Chair Against Humanity #1 work in progress, officially episode 7, and the penultimate episode in our issue 1 work in progress series. Yeah, TLDR. We got one more episode before the end of the series of live streams. So this is going to be pretty fun. Unfortunately, today we are short-handed. Cam is apparently down with a case of the adulting. So yeah, unfortunately he couldn't make it. But we are happy that you guys are here. We're happy that we're here. And whether you're watching it live or you're watching it sometime in the future, thank you so very much for being here as we continue this process of creating an original, humorous, quirky, sci-fi comic book. Yeah.
Thank
So my
you.
name is Mark. I'm here with Natalie. Cam is normally the pretty one,
Yeah,
so Natalie's going to be standing in as the pretty one today. Um,
I'll try. Sounds like big shoes to fill.
yeah, big shoes to fill. What are we talking about? So we're going to take a look back at the process, what it's been like to this point in creating a comic book. And this is the first time this production team has worked together. Um, I've written comics before. I published a couple of graphic novels before. Natalie is officially now a super famous artist. Uh,
Please.
she had she had her first art show
Yeah,
about a month ago now. Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so yeah, this is a new process for us, but it's been fun, kind of exciting, a bit of a roller, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
Whirlwind.
yeah, a whirlwind. So Natalie, for you, how was it been? What's it like? Where are you at now in the process?
So
Yeah.
let's see. We're a little more than halfway through all the pages, trying to get all the lines finished up so Cam can do his coloring magic. Um, it has been an experience for sure. It is a different genre to things that I usually draw. So I'm not typically a mech and tech kind of illustrator. Um, give me trees and nature any day instead of geometric shapes. But it has been fun and a challenge to kind of work through how to best portray the scenes that I've been doing. Um, Tech and mech kind of genre of art is very detailed, and I've been trying to think of how I could put in all these little details that would make it real and believable. So it's been a lot of research from like the earlier episodes from my Google searches. Fortunately, there haven't been any mishaps. Everything has just been like, oh, circuit board and server rack and blah blah blah. No
So
dolls,
boring stuff, boring safe stuff.
safe stuff. I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, like just getting inspiration from all those little things because I'm not a big tech person, so I'm not exactly sure where all the details would go if I just tried to pull it from my head. So the research is vital for sure. But it has been nice proving to myself that I can do it. And you are happy with the results. So
Yeah, I've definitely been fanboying pretty much whenever the line art pages come in. Um, so we've got a work group chat for this project, and Cam has made, do we call them threats? Hmm. So basically, what happened is, Nat has been sending in pages and sending in like little previews of pages and that kind of stuff.
It does an
And
exciting.
it's been great, you know. Uh, so Cam said he's going to make it his mission with the colors to make me jizz my pants. Really specific there.
That
I
does
don't
sound
know
like
if
a threat.
I don't know if that's a threat or
Promise of a good time. I don't understand.
don't threaten me with a good time. Come on, but yeah, that's Cam's commitment, you know. But yeah, like it's fun seeing a project come alive. Um, so for me as the writer, the person responsible for putting words on our paper, it's it's not quite. So what happened in my head? The images that happened in my head, I can't like pull out of my head directly and stuff into Natalie's head and then boom. I've got to make an effort to explain with
Mhm.
enough detail so that I kind of inspires Natalie to draw stuff. Um, an artist, if you're a writer working with an artist, the artist isn't your human pencil. They aren't your little AI drawing tool or whatever. Uh, in a lot of ways, you got to kind of give them a reason to draw. To have fun. For a artist, there's a commitment to kind of translate the script as well as possible. But it has to be room, or at least I feel there has to be room there for the artists to bring their own thing to it, and that's the dynamic I like, where the artist is like, I've got cool stuff to draw, or I've got to figure out cool ways to draw this stuff. You know. Actually, let me throw up a page here. Wait. Is it there? It's
Yes.
not
I
tab.
will
Oh,
reiterate that you have done a very good job in your script with giving lots of details to follow or to piece together how um, to draw out a scene or what details to include, while being gracious enough to allow me to interpret that without nitpicking. So I'm very glad. Being a good boss.
I'm happy to hear that, like legit, because I on like being an employee. You think we've been an employee working for somebody or working on somebody's project. I don't like kind of being micromanaged.
Mhm.
So I try really hard to be that kind of person, not to be that person, um, without like being like too different, too distant, I guess.
Mhm.
I don't know how it is for anybody else, but I feel like it's a kind of a fine line, maybe, or maybe I'm just new. I don't know. All right, cool.
No.
No, this is page 2. Yeah,
Yeah.
cool. This page, let's see if it zooms in here. So this is a server rack, and I'm gonna I'm gonna pull the script up. I'm not gonna show it, but I just want to make sure they have the line right in terms of like detail. Uh, yeah. So page 2, I didn't like explicitly say you need to draw a server rack. You know, I just try to like broadly paint the scene. So we know it's we know the location is like a kind of like converted auditorium turned like weird science lab.
Yeah.
Um, and that's the broad gist of it. So the details that are added here, one, Natalie did a good job in translating the script, but then there were a lot of like little details that for me were really fun to see. So this server rack down there, that's all Natalie. Um, and cabling running up the walls, this pipe overhead with rivets. Yeah, that's all cool stuff. The whole desk in the corner. It's good. It's really cool to see those sort of details and to know that Natalie was comfortable to just add that stuff. So yeah,
And
cool stuff.
it's really interesting to looking at this page versus midway through the story how the lab changes, because this is like his bare bones. It looks more like an auditorium right now, so you have like the stage and the curtains are still there, and there's just like a few, I don't even know how to say basic because my guy out here doing like tip top science, but some bare bones sort of equipment. He can't really see what's like behind him, like in the third panel there. It has him kind of backing the rest of the auditorium. So like you have these, there's like a steps going up out of the auditorium. You have a little cabinet behind him there. But other than that, like the space is kind of bare, just like the bare necessities of what he would need. And then later on, it gets like so nice and high tech. So
Yeah, so definitely something to look forward to. Let me throw up another page one. Here we go. Like, do I have page one open? Yeah, step one. Open page one.
step one.
Yeah, step one. Open page one. Right. Here we go. So some more like cool details, and if you were to have like a side by side comparison of the actual script page versus the art, all of these little knickknacks for this second panel are things that Natalie pulled from her own imagination, but she figured was a good fit to the story, helping to flesh out the world and the character, that kind of stuff. We actually had a bit of a debate in our group. I think somebody was it Cam. They thought that for a weird scientist, the workspace was too tidy. But notes, and he's got a little piece of paper balled up and some wire and a screwdriver and more ends of wires. It's great. It really helps like sell the scene. And there's a comic book group I'm in where one person, he kind of doesn't like manga because he feels that the panels don't have as much detail as like the comics he grew up with. And for me, it kind of comes down to the artist.
Mm-hmm.
I think where there's one artist that person not a fan of. What's his name? John Romita Jr. I think that's his name. He's drawn Spider-Man a lot, and he's got an art style which to me is full of lines. Yeah, a lot of lines. Let me see if Google is going to help me and throw up something I can share. John Romita Jr. Here we go. And for me, it's not knocking his work, however. The guy is a huge, perennial favorite artist, but it's weird how for comics it can come down to your preference as a reader, and I think a lot of people don't like differentiate between your preference and the artist or the creator's skill, kind of. Um, Let me see. Switch.
Have any pictures to throw up?
Yeah, got a Google search. Yeah. So like, and
Oh.
I've seen him kind of do more lines, but like all this like hatching and line work, and he used to draw DC Superman series, and I felt like everything looked really angular, and I can't really like put words to it, but I didn't find his particular art style appealing. You know, it's very, I think, very proportional, but something about it, you know, just isn't my thing. And you know, it goes the other way. There's some art styles that to me just feel really sketchy. It's kind of like if you take like sketches and just add color to it. That's what it feels like to me. But again, you know, everybody's got their preferences.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. Like, and it's weird too because there's some people I know, not comic wise, but artists that I follow, that their style is very sketchy, but somehow the way they do their sketches, so it has like all the lines, but it's very soft and graceful almost. So I don't mind in that instance, but I wouldn't try to do that because my sketches are like scribbles, so it would just be like harsh and janky. So I prefer to just get a nice clean line going over top.
The funny thing though, you're talking about our ear sketches that look sketchy. This is not me like throwing on the bus or Natalie.
No, but they're
Let me see if I can
janky.
find my favorite. One of my favorite like pages. Yeah, here we go.
Oh boy.
You know which one this is. You know which one this is. Go on.
I know.
All right, so this right. And I'm gonna lie, people. This expression here, I love this expression. This is a man who's enjoying his food, right?
Oh god.
But no, generally, like this page, all of the looking at it purely from like moving from the script to this stage, it's all there, right? And you can get a sense of what's going on the page, what's going on in this moment in the story. You know, it's not anywhere as detailed as like the line work, but you know, it's all there. You know, there's a guy who's saying no, he's clearly enjoying his food. Don't be the last bite. You know that. But yeah, this expression. When I saw this, I was like, yeah, that I like that. That sold the whole thing to me.
Oh god. It's almost
Because
like borderline pervy.
why do you have to go there?
But like I don't know. Just looking back at it though, it's like
I am seeing full enjoyment. If you're seeing pervy stuff, that's all you. That no, that is all you.
your favorite thing was the Drew. He did
Yeah,
Drew.
yeah. The guy got food on his face. Yeah, he's a guy who he's enjoying his food. No holds barred. I love it.
Yeah, Dr. Regular strikes me as somebody that could put away, maybe little twig guy that can have three plates with no
There are people like
qualms.
that. But yeah. So now that you've gone the majority of the way through the process art way,
Hmm.
what, if anything, um, is there that you would have done differently?
Mm. First thing that comes to mind, I would have done a pre-sketch, almost like a blueprint layout for the auditorium, because I know as an auditorium, I have like a general idea of how an auditorium is laid out, but I should have done a sketch layout, like floor plan. Yeah, floor plan of the whole auditorium to know where everything is
Hmm.
so that I could go back and reference that. So it's like a sketch before my sketches. So that when I put the different characters in spots throughout the auditorium, I know where they are in relation to everything else. I kind of have to flip back through the sketches now and be like, wait, where he was in panel 3 of page this and things like check back and make sure that I'm not changing the details. And well, it's fine, but definitely to streamline for volume 2. Then I'll lay out some floor plans of any big important space to make sure that all the details are consistent instead of having to flip back and forth. The same way how I did the character sketches, so I know everybody's features. Ooh, how big this person's ears are, was the shape of this person's eyes. I have that sheet that I can just go back and check to make sure that everything is staying consistent.
That I'm fascinated to hear that because it feels very much like some of the prep you would do for pre-production for a film.
Mm,
So going in and getting forward the layout of a particular location.
mm,
Um, I worked on productions where you get carte blanche to move stuff around, but as a kind of basic courtesy, you want to kind of put everything back where you found it.
mm,
So you might take like pictures before, and all right, this stuff was there, that kind of stuff. But it's kind of fascinating how different every artist is because some people would just wing it, would just go through and just draw it out and somehow maintain good continuity.
mm.
Yeah. Um, so it's different. For me, what would I do different? I don't know because so we started this myself, Cam, and we call her Char IRL. Charlene, putting this idea together back in the early days of COVID, of the lockdown. So it was a kind of funny experience writing the entire thing out because with COVID, we didn't have anything to do. We're like, all right, we want someone to do some stuff. I've been trying to encourage Cam to to do more content.
Mm.
So that was kind of the thinking behind it. But then it was a point between where the script was done, as in written, um, and then when you actually started about it, where I had to actually go back at it, and it was like looking at it with fresh eyes.
Mm.
And by the point you got the script, it had already been edited by Claire, who's a pretty cool editor from the UK. I invited her on to the live stream, and she's like, "Nah, she's a behind the scenes person." So,
Aw.
but yeah, um, so I've had it having it edited and making changes based on the editors feedback, it was all kind of fresh again for me. Um, and I I don't know if I would change that, like having that gap. I've had other experiences where you're kind of like charging through production instead
Mhm.
of having a time for it to like sit down and steep, kind of to simmer. Uh, that was definitely different. I'm not sure if it would change it though.
Yeah, that is like a nice work process to implement, because when you give things a little time, like for drawing, if you're hammering away at something, you tend to get, I don't know if fed up is the right word, but you see like all the little nitpicky things to go at in the piece, and
Hmm.
then so you put it down, you go away for a few hours or even come back the next day, and you either know exactly what to fix like that from the moment you see it, or you realize, oh, this actually isn't so bad, and you could kind of mellow out a bit and enjoy what you did as opposed to just being like so stuck into it. So it's good to have that step back period. We're talking about when you put down something that you wrote and come back to it in a few months and it's like, ah, that's funny, I wrote that. You can like laugh at your own jokes now, because I wrote this months ago. I don't even remember what I wrote. This is like reading a fresh book. What is this?
I actually kind of experienced that recently. There's another project I'm writing, and I feel like a writer. I don't often get a chance to like compare other writers, but personally, I feel like I over-engineer everything.
Mm.
So, so for this new project, it's actually like my first superhero story. And
Ooh.
given how many superhero comics I've read um, over my life, it's funny that I've never written anything superhero-ish before. So I had to sit down and figure out, you know, about this. I literally got a 13-page concept development document. Haven't started reading the script yet, but I've got 13 pages of notes.
Oh
Weird.
wow.
Who does that? But I'm literally just going through the process of what they call breaking down the idea. You know, translating from what's in my head down on a page, and hopefully it's more or less coherent.
Hmm.
Uh, so there was a something else I'd written before, like how the powers work, and I'm looking back at it, and I'm like, what did you write? Why did you write this? And even with like all sorts of notes and stuff, I I'm liable to write down this is how it works versus this is what you're thinking. This is how it works. So I'm looking back at it and I'm like, what is this? Why did you write this? Why did you think this makes sense? I don't know. So
But
that's kind of stressful.
you
Uh,
see, so that's just your notes, right? So now you can go in, you can be like, okay, this doesn't exactly make sense. Let me, you know, tweak this here and put that there and change this around. And just like your layout for the mechanics of it, instead of, oh, he punched this person 20 feet. Why do you think he could punch this person 20 feet? And now you got like re-engineer your script and the
yeah,
dialogue and what's happening in the plot, plus the mechanics that you thinking back on, all like, that don't seem quite right. So, see, layouts, they're important. So, you making fun of yourself for your 13-page document, but
I am making fun of myself. Yeah,
it will
I'm
save
I'm
you.
I'm very much a plotter. So people say conventional wisdom says that there are two types of writers. You've got the pantsers, people who write by the seat of their pants. So it's like
Oh,
pretty much this whole like flow of consciousness down to the onto the page, and it comes out coherent. And then there are people like me who will sit down and try to understand or figure out the entire framework behind the story before you actually write the story.
Hmm.
Um, so yeah, that's definitely me. But then when I'm working with an illustrator, it's all to this point. It's always been different. I've had I work with illustrators who are like, let's have a conversation about it, and I'm like, but there's a script. It's like, nah, I don't want to read that. Like,
Oh my god,
but
you
I wrote the
serious?
script, and then fortunately Natalie actually sat down and read the script, which is cool. What was also fun is questions from Natalie. So, and is the kind of questions which come from having read something and trying to understand it. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
I think you need clarifications. And then you have like the discussion, but I mean the map there.
the map is there. That's what the map is for.
Yes.
Uh, but yeah, it's different, and I am working on being either finding a better fit in terms of collaborators, or and well not or and generally being more flexible. Um, so no more am I gonna excitedly show an artist, hey, here are all these cool notes and everything. It's like, nah, here's the script. Um, I've also found that some so Natalie has run out, taken the script, run out, and like done generated all her own references. So what does the server rat look like? You know, but
Yeah.
I've had instances where I am the one that had it's easier to find images that illustrate what I'm thinking. So, for instance, if a character has a particular hairstyle, go online and Google and try to find a hairstyle that fits. That kind of, in a way, that kind of is a bit more efficient.
Hmm.
Uh, it's like a clear picture of this is the thing I'm thinking of. You know.
Yeah.
Speaking of, what do you think about the use of AI in art?
Mm. I don't want to be a doomsday kind of person
It's the end
necessarily.
of the world.
But I don't know. I am a bit skeptical of how everything is going. Um, I am inclined to believe that maybe that whole singularity thing is on the horizon. For how is being used right now, I think it could be useful like for idea generation. So
Mhm.
like references aren't always there for what you would want. So you could kind of type in a prompt. Granted, I haven't used any of them yet, but from what I understand, you could like type in a prompt of an idea that you have and see like what it spits out at you, and then use those as inspiration to craft your own thing. I think
Yep.
that's fun. But it's a little sad to see like how it's also being abused. Like they had people recently that somebody published a book where he made a whole script and the illustrations from different AI prompts and published that book. Um, Another person won. There was someone that won a photography competition and an
Yeah, I heard
art.
what happened.
Yeah, with AI generated like photographs and AI generated painting, and it's like, uh, like, you already have to kind of fight so hard to make the whole creative space a career. So it's
Mm.
really sad how easy other people could jump in. And like, I understand wanting to be creative, but it's also if you haven't actually been practicing and you don't have the skills yet, it's kind of a slap in the face to the other people that have been working this whole time and actually have the skills to then jump in. take their accolades by just typing some stuff into a computer. To me, is not right, and I think we are in for a lot of trouble. Hopefully, before it gets better, but
Mm.
trouble nonetheless in the future with the whole AI gamut of it, like getting into the creative spheres. You saw the oh my gosh, a new collab song between The Weeknd and
Begin
Drake.
and Great. Yeah, I heard about that. I didn't hear the song itself because by the time I saw the article, I gone taken down. But yeah, I heard about that. I definitely understand the feeling of having invested a lot of time to develop your talent and getting to a certain point, and then someone coming along through a shortcut. But for me, I feel like history is repeating itself,
Mhm.
where there are people who always look for shortcuts, the shortest path to the quickest money,
Mhm.
um, that kind of mentality. Um, and you know, you can look at other milestones in terms of human development, and you will find there's somebody that is like that, you know, or technology that makes that leap. So there's a point where people were, you know, using horses to get around, and then, you know, there are no cars. Um, I remember my first, and yeah, this is me showing my age again. I first learned to type on an actual typewriter,
Oh wow.
and I was getting stressed from like family is like, you know, this is the way forward, and having an actual like, you know, click click click, swing, click click click. That was it. That is one of the first like avenues to learn to type.
Mhm.
And there were actually like careers like typists and secretaries had to know how to type, and you know, to be a bon mass secretary, you gotta be able to type like X number of words a minute, and that kind of stuff with this high level of accuracy. And then, you know, if you want to be a writer, you had to present a manuscript that was literally typed out. That and that was only a couple decades ago. But that was the thinking that, and here in the Caribbean is like, I feel like we're always behind. So
Mhm.
those were skills that people were pushing, that in order for you to be able to get certain jobs, those are the skills that I have. And in the blink of the eye, you don't need those skills anymore. People aren't asking you how many words can you type a minute.
Yeah.
Nobody cares. You know, there are no so many word processors that will do that for you. And while like ChatGPT and Midjourney and those kind of AI programs are getting all the attention, you've had AI in writing now for at least 5 years. You know, where you can type something and the AI will tell you you're using too many adverbs.
Mm.
You know, um, I don't like from Midjourney and those kind of things. I don't like that the program was developed by scraping art from artists.
Yeah.
I feel like that was like a shortcut to developing tech. Uh, you know, so I understand that, but I don't want. I'm afraid that people are going to be so anti AI that the useful, productive tools that don't violate somebody's copyright or infringe somebody's creativity, they're going to get lumped in with the ones that do, and all that stuff is going to be seen as bad.
Mhm.
I don't think that AI is going to go away. Like Adobe released a new AI program which allows you to alter images. Shoot, I can't remember what it's called now, but I saw the demo like yesterday, where you can upload a picture of like uh, a summer scene, a summer landscape,
Mm-hmm.
and type in, actually use text and say, hey, change this to a winter scene, and then tweak it. And I'm like, oh my god, that is mind blowing. And the if you are watching this, use your Google Food and drop in the comments the name of that new AI software that Adobe had rolled out like recently, like this week or if you know the name of it, drop it in chat and help educate myself because I can't remember. But yeah, it's like and I saw one. So it's like one of the use cases is like product demos. So let's say you have a phone, like an image of a phone. Instead of having somebody sit down and like generate variants of the different colors of the cases or whatever, you upload the one image you got, type in the changes you want, and boom, it'll do that. It will. I think the demo I saw was a phone, a smartwatch.
Mm-hmm.
So you could change if the image is of a plastic strap. You could change it to leather. You could change it to metal. You could change it basically, and that's all by text. So you don't even have to be like a graphic artist or illustrator
Oh wow.
to make
That's,
those changes.
that sounds
It's
like
all text
something
based.
that they did in InDesign, where you
Yeah.
could do like the whole product mock-ups and that sort of thing without
Hmm.
having the actual to go and photograph a bunch of different things.
Or photograph the same thing from a bunch of different angles.
Yeah.
You know. So
My main worry with the whole AI thing is the argument usually is that tech displaces, it disrupts industries, but then it creates new ones.
mhm.
But at the same time, tech is kind of like a pyramid in that each time improves, it improves in like efficiency, which means there's either less people or less materials or whatever it is needed to make something. So we kind of at a bit of an unstable spot in society already with unemployment and jobs. So if with the continued like technological boom, I feel like it's going to reach a point where it displaces more jobs than it creates, and then you end up in trouble because unless you're gonna start supporting everybody when they don't or can't have anything else to do because the machine's doing it all, then we're gonna be in a bit of a economic pickle. But that might be me thinking outside my knowledge range and not big economist or anything. It's just like a thought that I have.
I don't think I can see where you're going because for better or worse, entertainment has kind of projected that kind of stuff already. If you read enough sci-fi or cyberpunk stuff, you're gonna see that kind of projection, that kind of projection of, I guess, fear, for lack of a better term.
Mm.
Um, but like right now, like from the industrial revolution to now, we're still, particularly here in the Caribbean, education isn't doesn't take creativity and innovation into account. It's all about, even though still creating replaceable cogs. So, and I feel like that's why, um, like the arts and creative industries are still kind of looked down on because creativity is unique unless you're one of those people who are just going to like be like a copycat artist. But typically, like, if you write a book, you can write a book in 10 people can write a book in the same genre, but ideally each story, all the character, that kind of stuff will still be kind of different.
Mhm.
Your writing style, your voice as a writer, that all be different. But education, at least in my opinion, is all about making parts, turn people into parts. So it's like this job needs 10 people. Here are 10 people, all with the same skill set, and they're all easily replaceable. Um, and humans can't compete with computers and AI in terms of like replicating tasks, doing the same thing the same way every single time. So unless there's a shift in perception, unless there's a shift in education in a major way, yeah, I think there will be more people out of jobs than in jobs, even though advances would create different jobs. So we need to change a lot of stuff on a human end to kind of mitigate that. How can we get people in a position, in a mindset of position to take advantage of the changing tech rather than being left behind? I've seen conversations with artists who are like super anti AI, right? And it's like, so have you tried using like ChatGPT or Midjourney or whatever? Like, no, I don't want to use it. Like a different job. Okay. But I feel like, but then when you see like young people that are under 20, who AI or computers or digital, I've met artists, young people, way younger than me, who have never drawn anything with a pencil. Never. Like one guy I met a few years ago, he uses Procreate on an iPad, and he draws with his finger. And I'm like, you drew this with your finger? And I was like, yeah. And I'm like,
I thought you were gonna say Apple Pencil.
no, with his finger.
Brother.
And I'm like, I'm looking at my fingers, and I'm like, I can't do that, you know. But you know that was the world that he came up in. You know, there's a guy on Instagram. He blows my mind. I don't see any like prep work. I see a blank page and then a speed drawing, and he would draw this line art that is amazing. And I'm like, is he just drawing straight from his head? It looks like a computer printing an image, kind of. Like it just like appears on the page, and I'm like, them is my skills. Like, and everything looks proportionate, and the perception, the not perception, perspective looks correct. And again, I'm not an artist, but you know that's him. He didn't come up with that traditional drawing with a pencil or drawing with charcoal thing. So I don't know.
Yeah,
If you're an artist, even if you think morally a scraping art to create images is wrong, by the time like the technology matures where that's no longer an issue and where the legalities all line up and that kind of stuff, because that's going to happen. You got too many big billion-dollar companies quietly investing into this stuff for it to not work out. You know, but if you aren't aware of it, if you aren't looking to gain those new skills, well, the technology is still fresh. That is how you get left behind. You don't have to use it. You don't have to make AR. You don't. But you can't. You're not going to compare with a child who comes up and all they know is AR. Is like, oh, I want to draw a landscape with a sunset and unicorns, and they type in fantasy landscape, white unicorn, you know, and but they hone those skills, so they know exactly the prompt to put in. And I was talking to somebody else, shout out to Matthew Clark, he's a mad talented artist. but he has embraced AI in a way. He's one of the few artists that I know, like personally, who's actually paying attention to AI. You know, and he's like, nah, he would throw concepts, and he's learning the prompts. He's learning how to get the AI to create the exact precise image you want.
Yeah. I was hearing that would be a valued skill set, like knowing how to prompt the programs. That
Yeah,
would be maybe a whole new like type of job.
maybe. You know, and it had me wondering, like, literally today, is there a difference? So I think the term that Matthew used, I don't know if he coined it or whatever. Um, he calls this future job title a prompt artist. Right? We're creating images just using prompts. Um, I am wondering, is that wildly different from a chef or a cook, where the words you use are like your ingredients,
Mhm.
and you're putting these ingredients together in a specific way to get a specific result. So you like Coca-Cola's recipe is pretty much top secret trademark stuff. There's supposedly only like a handful of people in the world who know what the exact recipe for Coca-Cola is. But the Coca-Cola recipe is trademarked.
Mhm.
Who's to say that in 10 years they wouldn't be they wouldn't treat these prompts like a recipe? Who's to say?
That would be interesting because the current framework they were going for is that you can't trademark those like AI images and stuff. So
Hmm. The same guy that that wrote the comment that you were talking about, and then had all the art generated. Uh, Initially, the U.S. Copyright Office gave him the copyright for the entire book. Then there was this whole uproar, and then they pulled the copyright. I think he then sued, I think, um, and he was able to get the copyright for all of the written parts of it. So coming up with the story and writing the script and that kind of stuff, but
Mhm.
zero for the AI generated art. You know, but what if you can say that? What if you can show, or if somebody can show, you can't generate this exact same image without knowing the recipe? It may come up with that. I don't know.
Hmm. That's interesting because I guess you could think of it like a business name because you can't trademark basic words.
Hmm.
And a prompt would be basic words. Once a person they understand, oh, this is the sentence that you typed in to get that, it should be fine. They could then take it and replicate exactly what you did. But at the same time, if you can copyright the prompt itself.
Maybe, maybe that's where it goes. And maybe in who knows how long, AI generated images will no longer depend on cobbling together images from the internet. Who knows? That's weird. But anyway, we've been going on about AI art for a while. I mean, it kind of fits. I mean, C.H.A.R is an AI in story. She's not. She's more liable to blast you in the face than steal your art. But still. Um, so one of the things that, like, back to actual C.H.A.R now, hope nobody's bored.
Hmm.
So this is the logo, the image for this book, C.H.A.R Against Humanity. Um, this is why I came up with myself, and it took me forever to go, and I was there in the group chat being very, very, very artist about it. Like, it's like, it's not done, it's not quite right. I'm gonna stop. No, I'm not gonna stop. It was,
You're
yeah.
just
I
waiting
had
for a
this whole
light to
thing.
come back from the crazy.
Yeah, Cam, he's not here, but shout out to Cam. Cam was the one that taught me to off the ledge in his own way, tough love. But yeah, he pointed out, he's like, yeah, this is what it is to be an artist. You're never quite. So many artists are never quite happy with what they do at the time they're doing it, kind of. And you,
Hmm.
and you kind of said it earlier. Sometimes it helps to like put it down for a bit and come back to it.
Yep.
See the new ones. But honestly, for this, I was I was kind of iterating my way through it, and I'm not going to claim that I had this clear idea of what I wanted it to look like. I didn't. So I was kind of like using my limited abilities to try and figure it out. And this is what it is, and I'm happy with it. Kind of fussy,
Good
yeah.
job.
But so for you, has there been any point, whether it's on this project or on your own art, where you've gone through the process, where it's like you're doing this thing and clearly you're doing it, but you're not happy with it, and it kind of creates this whole manic cycle?
Hmm. I can't think of anything in the recent past that had me so wound up. I kind of got to a spot in my art maybe lost 8 years ago at this point where I think I gained the basic skeleton of my style, and everything on top of that has just been like small iterations of change or improvement. I think I went pretty manic during like my first time messing around in Photoshop and not knowing how to use any of the tools. And I was there like basically banging my keyboard because I couldn't figure out how to get the lines the way that I wanted them. My mom is who had to like talk me down off the ledge. Like maybe leave the program alone for a bit and go away and come back. And she was laughing at me. She only like advised me afterward because I was just there like borderline screaming at the desktop. Like, what are the guys doing? That was me like not understanding how to use the pen tool. So I was in there, shame no, but like in there putting down each anchor point like one after the other like this. And
Wow.
this is terrible. Like, why do people do this? And then, it could get like a sharp angle or a curve, and it
Mm-hmm.
would end up with a random curve, and I didn't know why it was curving, and it's freaking out. Uh, I was probably at it for like a good hour and a half, just like this close to the screen. My mom was like laughing, listening to me screaming at the computer, and she was like, take a little break. Take a little break and come back, honey. Then I
Yeah.
realized, oh, you can manipulate the dots. Let me just sink them. Oh god. That was probably like my most manic art moment. Yeah. Have you
I, I've never. So Illustrator is probably as close as I can get, and I do know some people who are amazing like vector based artists.
mm-hmm.
Um,
Props to them.
so
I cannot.
yeah, so they would draw sort of cool stuff completely in vectors, completely in Illustrator, um, and it looks great. I've never kind of been interested in Illustrator, and I've had like photographer friends and other artists who be like, yeah, you should learn Illustrator, and I'm like, ugh, I don't know, man. I feel like I don't have a use for it. For
Hmm.
me, I like Illustrator. Illustrator for me, I don't know if you remember like this term desktop publishing from like a while ago. This is how much things change. Yes, I'm aging myself again. Yay, I'm an old guy. Well, yeah. So when I was in college, I actually did courses in like desktop publishing, and it was more. Well, there were some like image manipulation parts to it, but I kind of like the more typographic aspects to it. So like laying out behind the magazines and figuring out the typography and figuring out placement of the meshing of the words and the images. That all kind of more appealed to me than just the pure, even more like the graphic art type stuff. So like creating like logos and stuff, I'm probably crap at it. I don't know, or maybe I'm just too hard on myself. But even that was more my interest was at. So Illustrator more held my interest. It was more usable for me, or applicable. Yeah, that's the word. And video editing programs. I kind of like editing film or editing video. I don't do a lot of it these days, but you know, that's where my interest was. Photoshop, I was like, eh. Animation, I've been looking at animation. I've been looking at programs like Blender, and this is where I'm going to shame myself. It always feels like it's this massive hill to climb between you already know where you want to get to be, and it's like, oh, so many hours just learning this stuff. And I remember talking to somebody visiting an animation studio, and the guy running the studio at the time told me that, oh yeah, you don't need to learn to draw to be an animator. And I was stunned. I was like,
what kind of animator?
What? What you don't
Then
know?
again,
But like 3D animation, it's a lot. It's more you're manipulating the program than actually like drawing. And you can be an animator, but drawing the actual assets for the characters and background, that kind of stuff, wouldn't be your part of it. You know, you might be the guy. What's the term? Rigging, yeah. And you're just making sure that the characters are moving right and the physics, I guess, holds up. You know, so like a ball that bounces, it looks right. We're not actually drawing a ball, stuff like that. So, but there's so many things to learn, man. It's weird. We've got some comments in chat. Welcome. So, Adriel, good day. That's
hi,
Adriel.
Adriel.
Good day to you too, sir. Thanks for being here. He says he tried ChatGPT for writing. The stories were really predictable and cliche, they found. Here's the thing. Again, it comes down to knowing the program and kind of what you want to get out of it. So if you are thinking, I'm going to publish a book real quick and make oodles and oodles of money, then you're looking for shortcuts and you're probably disappointed or just put up crap. But you know, using ChatGPT or whatever to what I kind of call rubber ducking. So rubber ducking, as explained to me by a programmer friend of mine, apparently at some point, programmers would literally put like little rubber ducks on their desks, and whenever they encounter like a block, like they can't get past a certain point, they will talk the problem out to the rubber duck, and that probably works. They'd be like, "Why is this code not working? Ducky, tell me, why is this code not working? I, did all these things." And as weird and kind of crazy as that sounds, apparently that worked.
It's like talking it out to yourself.
Yeah, you're talking it out to yourself.
Everything is running in your head.
Yeah. And well, apparently talking to yourself is a sign of madness. Talking to a rubber duck is not, weirdly enough. But I think like for me, I've used ChatGPT and I use it like a rubber duck. I'm not gonna be like, hey, write a story about me about whatever. Nah. I actually like writing. I'm decent at it, I think. Um so yeah. But breaking down ideas, trying to fill in the blanks, trying to wrap your head around an idea. Basically brainstorming.
Hmm.
AI is good for that. You've had programs like Grammarly out for a while. That is AI, and that will, do some basic copy editing for you. Make sure that all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted, and your sentence structure isn't crap. That's been around for at least 5 years.
Yeah.
So AI is out there. AI is already integrated in various ways.
It
So
has been here for a while, but I think there's a difference between like the helpful program add-ons that we've had thus far
mhm.
and these current things that are like creating not from scratch but just like gobbling up all the information there is out there and creating things to give back to you, and then that the precedent that that sets for the next set of things that are going to come in, what can they create? And it's kind of hard to fathom, like for chat gpt and then the art ones as well. They're iterating based on all the knowledge that's out there in whatever field they're trying to create things in, whether it's writing or creating new images. How does a program create something fresh? You get what I mean? Like,
Can it create something fresh?
yeah. Does it
So
just get to the stage where it's actually sentient and it can think for itself to make something new?
So in writing, I've heard it said that there are no new ideas,
Hmm.
which is kind of depressing when you think about it. But it's really new applications or approaches, the way you may combine things or that kind of stuff.
Hmm.
Um, for me, the way children learn and the way I learn is pretty much the same. You got a small child, you're gonna show them an object, you're gonna say apple, apple, and you're gonna keep saying apple, and children blah 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 blah. Yes, apple. And I don't know, maybe in a few weeks or months, the child come back to you and say apple. And if it's holding an apple, you're gonna be like, "Yay! I'm so proud of you." If they're holding a grenade, you've got problems. But that it's pattern recognition. That's how humans learn. Marvel for sure used to sell books about how to draw the Marvel way, and it's literally showing you this is how Thor is drawn.
Mm.
And you if you like Marvel, if you like superheroes, and you learn to draw, you've probably bought that book, and you're probably gonna sit down and you're gonna painstakingly draw out Thor or Captain America until it looks as close as you can get it to the way Marvel does it. Pattern recognition again. Um, so, and I've seen artists, people who think of themselves as artists, who cannot draw from their head, who draw almost exclusively with references. So, like your script may call for a car. You may say, "Oh, let's say you use a Ferrari, this particular model Ferrari." That artist is gonna go online and go, "Look, this is what this model Ferrari look like," and sit down and painstakingly draw it out. I I don't know. I'm not an artist. I'm probably gonna get flogged in the comments for my my way of thinking. But yeah,
No, that's its whole own like there's certain like taboos and sins in the art community. You see online, people will get roasted if you. It's called tracing. If you just trace something, be like, "Oh, you didn't draw that. That's tracing." And like tracing is fine for trying to understand something or you studying something. But if you're drawing to create your own piece and you want that item, the reference that you use should be like you should be using an amalgamation of different references to
Mhm.
get your final thing instead of just taking something and go, yeah, and trace around it. They'd be very upset with you if they realize that's what you did.
Yeah. But again, I know one artist who had he is covered in a cloud of controversy
Oh no.
because it's been alleged that traces he traces from other comic book artists. He traces supposedly from porn, all sorts of things he uses and he traces. I'm not gonna call his name here, but this is a
Like,
guy who to this year, I think, is still getting work, still drawing interiors, drawing covers, and I don't want to say for his entire career because I think like I remember sitting on and like researching him, and there was a point where he was he's an original artist. So he's like self-generating images, and then there was a point where you can literally see what his references were, you know. But throughout it, the guy keeps getting work, and I was telling people he's probably still getting work because his line work is clean, and probably more importantly, he delivers on time.
mm-hmm.
And companies at a certain level, efficiency is it. You know,
Yeah.
they're less concerned with the creative elements than whether or not can this person deliver on on time and at quality. So yeah.
Yeah.
So we've been here for an hour and some. I, we should wrap it up. We should wrap it up.
Yeah.
So what do people have to look forward to for C.H.A.R Against Humanity #1? Well, for you as the artist, what's the thing that you want people to see the more?
I want them to meet Dr. Bergadum. In a earlier in an earlier live stream we were talking about like who's your favorite character, and I think I had said Kalina before. I like the suave woman in charge kind of thing. Um, but actually drawing them and getting to know them through like actually creating crafting their face and all the expressions. I have been loving Dr. Bergadum's many expressions and how I could like make him super expressive because he's such an expressive character. So I think people are going to have a lot of fun reading and looking at his expressions as you go follow him and chart through the story. So I'm excited for people to actually meet Dr. Bergadum.
Cool. What I am looking forward to actually just the entire book coming out. I'm a big fan of sci-fi, and I would love to see more sci-fi stories, and like a range of sci-fi stories.
Hmm.
There's hard sci-fi, there's soft sci-fi, whatever. Um, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the reactions from people.
Yeah.
Hopefully they're positive. Hopefully people enjoy the story and the characters. Yes, fingers crossed. Um, and that's kind of like the anxiety generating bit of it. You kind of work so hard on something, and then it's like hopefully people like it. But yeah,
Hmm.
I'm looking forward to a sci-fi story set in the Caribbean. Yeah, there definitely isn't. There aren't enough of those. Um, there's certain scenes that I'm like. There's one scene in the neighborhood that I don't want to like spoil it, but I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like on the page, fully colored. I'm looking forward to having having this story kind of like being like a little trip to Barbados in a way
Mm.
for people who aren't familiar. I watch a bunch of movies and I have a clear idea of what Times Square looks like, or the Grand Canyon, or the Eiffel Tower. I've never been to any of these places, so it would be cool to kind of give that experience with this comic, so we can see, okay, this is what a neighborhood looks like, or this is what some part of town looks like, that kind of stuff. That's what I'm excited about.
Ooh, I have a suggestion. I think we need to include like a map somewhere in the back of the book or the front. I'm not sure which one. Well, like
So
me and my boyfriend, we were looking at stuff last night, and it was a video or something, and there was a comment. People were talking about not knowing where this particular place was, and they were like, "Oh, Barbados, right? It's somewhere in Brazil. Cool." I'm like, what? What?
yeah,
Just because it's B&B don't mean that we, like, no. I also heard that Barbados was a place in Jamaica. So,
yes, I've heard that. I've had people ask me, "Oh, you're from Barbados? Oh, you know Rihanna? Where in Jamaica is that?" I'm like,
no.
I have questions, but no, that's actually a cool idea.
I'm seeing in my head like a little three panel. So you're gonna have like North America, and you zoom in some more on the Caribbean, and then you zoom right in, and it's like Barbados. Just so people know, if you come
Yeah,
into
that
this as an international person and you think that we in Brazil, no, we are a little dot off side of the chain, the Caribbean. Cool.
that
We have
I like that idea. That is cool. That would definitely be something to do. Sure, let's make it happen. That'd be a cool add-in to the book. Uh, yeah, I like that idea. That is cool. All right. So ideally, hopefully, we can get this idea of having like some sort of like map references to at least Barbados is here type of thing. So if you are from overseas and you read this book, hopefully you get a better idea of where Barbados is, and don't embarrass yourself online by thinking that Barbados is in Jamaica. That'd be weird. But
or
yeah,
Brazil.
so um, we're wrapping up for now. We are going to tell you though that the we are like this close to C.H.A.R being done. So we're gonna do our last show for this work in progress, episode one series, or issue one series for the C.H.A.R book. We're gonna do one more show in 2 weeks, and by that time we will be able to let you guys know where you can get the book, when it's coming out, all of those very very cool details, and be able to give you a bit of a sneak peek into the actual pages and color and all the liner and text and that kind of stuff. Um, you think we'd be able to show the cover by then, Natalie? Maybe?
Cover might have. I think we could have like some cover lines, if not like fully colored by then, like it all laid out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's definitely something to look forward to. What the cover for C.H.A.R will look like and all those very cool details for this process. Again, for us, thank you for being here over the last. I think we started the first episode of this like back in January, I think. So it's been a journey to this point, but again, we're very very nearly there, near the end, our destination. Thank you so much for being here with us every 2 weeks. Pretty much when we do this live stream, it's been fun. It's been a pleasure. So one more episode left for the C.H.A.R Against Humanity issue one work in progress live stream.
Yeah.
That is still a mouthful, but yeah, we near done, and we got some cool stuff to show y'all, and more details to come. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'm sorry we're missing the pretty one, Cam. Everything being equal, he should be here for the next episode, and he
Yeah.
can go back to being the pretty one and So now he isn't standing anymore.
Yeah.
But thank you for being here. Thank you for having fun with us. And we'll see you for our finale in 2 weeks. We'll
Yes.
see you there.
Bye, guys.
Bye.